Hello, and welcome to my show, Searching for Integrity. My name really is John Smith, and I'm searching for people with integrity. Why? Because our country suffers from IDD, Integrity Deficit Disorder. Today, we will explore real estate, buy and sell housing and homes, mortgages, interest rates from 7.25, 6 points, 6.5 and a half. It's not getting any better. I don't see it lasting like this, though, for a long time. I believe, though, what we'll be looking at this coming year, 2023, is that I think that it's a matter of capital, a matter of wherewithal. And that's a word that I learned when I was a CPA, wherewithal. It's like how much dough you've got, wherewithal. And it's very likely that this recession is coming in. The people that are involved in mortgages, some of those people are going to the downside already. So that would mean fewer dollars available to help you in a purchase. It's a 2023. It's you're going to hear and see more and more. A lot of it's going to come from the stock market and bonds as well. Nevertheless, let me begin some of my research to tell you what. First of all, U.S. home sales, biggest annual decline, at least a decade. That's scary right off the bat. There were 35% fewer deals last month than in November 21. Wow, that's interesting. I think I'll continue with this. U.S. home sales plummeted 35% in November, the biggest annual decline in at least 10 years, according to a Redfin report Thursday. Meanwhile, home price growth has also slowed, with an incremental 2.6% year over year rise last month, the data showed. That's the smallest gain since May 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic was at its worst. Interest rates rose to more than 7% in November, which has stalled buyers. The report said that in turn has kept would-be sellers from listing their properties, which may not fetch the desired price. Indeed, new listings were down 28% last month compared to November 2021. Second largest decline on record, the biggest was in April 2020. The report said, however, overall supply increased 4.6% annually as homes lingered on the market, with a typical home taking 37 days to go under contract, up from 23 days last year. So they're sitting on the market more days than the year before. The worst of inflation is likely to the rearview mirror. Economics research led said in the report, we do anticipate that mortgage rates will decline slightly further in 2023 as the Fed's actions continue to bring inflation down, which would ultimately bring more home buyers back to the market. Still, we have a ways to go until we reach recovery mode, and we may see sales continue to ebb in the short term. There are early signs that demand may increase. Oops, hold on. We do anticipate that mortgage rates will slightly further in 2023. There are many signs that demands may increase as rates continue to fall. There was a slight downtick in the portion of home purchase agreements that were canceled in November, and mortgages applications and Redfin's home buyer demand index have both been on the rise, the report said. Still, these early indicators haven't translated into more home sales. That's a kind of turnabout that didn't produce anything. Median price last year was $395,000, up 3.5% annually, the report said. The South saw home sales decrease 35% annually, with the median gain price being $268,600, an increase of 3.9% from this time last year. The West region experienced the largest decline in home sales and the smallest increase in home prices compared to the other regions of the country. Indeed, exiting home sales in the region fell a whopping 45.7% compared to last year, the report said. The median price was $569,800, a 2% annual increase. Well, lots of percentages there going the wrong direction, or at least taking photos of something that may not help you do what you want to do in terms of finding another home. Here's one, heart set on a new build. Here's where luxury homes are the youngest. Midwest and Sunbelt cities have new developments with amenities like pickleball, lazy rivers, etc. Growth in the recent years as these cities attract more employers and people look for a lower cost of living. Coastal markets, on the other hand, tend to have older luxury residences, and there's less room to build and more established locations to be filled with other older luxury properties. Think Victoria Homes in San Francisco or a Brownstone in Boston. Here's a list here of some youngest luxury homes. These U.S. cities have the youngest luxury housing stock. You've got Raleigh, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Dallas, Kansas City, San Antonio, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Orlando, Florida, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Houston, Indianapolis. Look at those down the list. I go down the list. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 towns that I've actually either lived in. Yes, I did live in those cities. It's good to see. I think those people in Texas, they must be doing something right with Dallas and San Antonio and Houston. Left out Houston and then Indianapolis. How about that? If you have your heart rate set on a newer home and are location agnostic or not mulling a few options, here are a few cities with the youngest luxury housing in the neighborhoods seeing the highest growth of luxury new builds. And I've given you the items themselves, the places, the cities and states. An influx of luxury buyers from California drawn to Texas for its lifestyle and lack of income tax are spurring a wave of building around Dallas. That's a big magnet. Anywhere you want to live in Texas, you don't have any income tax. You're getting a lot of people from California with a surplus money because the cost of living was more expensive there, said founder, broker. Many of these buyers are flocking to high-end Dallas suburbs like Argyle, which is way out, Prosper, way out, which has been hundreds of new homes built over the last few years. I know this about Argyle and Prosper. I was a young CPA and had some clients, and Prosper and Argyle were literally just way out of the country. And now their demand is every homeowner's envy. For instance, the median list price in Argyle is $600,000, and it's $825,000 in Prosper. That's because 825 Prosper is just due north of Dallas. In Argyle, it's on the upside of Fort Worth, just under Denton, where I went to college, Texas State. Dallas home builders are catering to the income wave of luxury buyers, and they're trying to put pools and sloping entrances and things that you normally wouldn't have. Nevertheless, they're after it. Let's see. Pick some papers. Okay. Next batch. For U.S. home sellers, the days of putting a sign in the yard and getting 10 offers is over. Sellers in once white-hot places like Boise, Idaho, Denver, and Phoenix will have to slash prices and offer more concessions to stand apart from competitors. So get that now. That's a fact, Jack. The days of putting a sign in the yard and getting 10 offers is gone. It's over. The period of the nonstop record-breaking growth of home prices is over. It's time for sellers to accept that reality. Around 15% of sellers dropped their listing price in every major U.S. metro in July as buyer demand dried up and the number of homes on the market increased, according to the most recent discount data from Redfin. A lot of sellers are wanting to look backward. An agent there in California, an affluent town outside of San Diego, where 2/3 of closings in the last 30 days have sold at a discount from the original list price. That's unusual. Different than what we know it as. They want to think that their values are consistent with the markets of 3 to 6 months ago, and we try to advise them that that ship has sailed. Price cuts have been most prevalent in so-called pandemic boomtowns, where home prices have cooled quickly following months of demand spurred by the pandemic. In Boise, Idaho, nearly 70% of homes saw sale a price drop. Largest share of any major U.S. metro and more than double the median percentage of price drops across the 97 metros surveyed, 32%. Discounts are now prevalent in Boise, Denver, Salt Lake City, Tacoma, Tampa, Sacramento, Indianapolis, Phoenix, San Diego, Portland, Oregon. Price cuts came as no surprise to many agents who anticipated that increasing mortgage rates would slow demand for homes and subsequently reduce prices. The 30-year fixed rate rose above 6% this month from 5.28% in May and doubling from a year ago. Pandemic effect wears off. Many cities that say and saw the largest share of homes with price cuts also experienced a surge of in-migration during the pandemic as remote workers sought with places high quality of life and lower price points than California or the East Coast. They were some of the first markets to be hit by the overall slowdown in the housing market. And inventory increases, homes are no longer selling in a matter of days. Time on the market from average of 5s earlier this year to 27 now. Now, the anticipation that the average time on market could increase to 45 days by the end of the year. The market is becoming more normal. As said, that means becoming more realistic about pricing expectations. Well, that's true. And that's enough to be blue. That's probably the forecast for 2023 would be to sit tight and hold on tight for what you have so that when it is time for the markets, stocks, as well as homes change and go back to their original price, that would be your time to find it. One, requesting home repairs. For many, it's time to ask for everything. It's time to ask for everything. As home buyers gain the upper hand, they're wondering how much they can demand from sellers. True, true, true. Home inspections are back. At the height of the home buying frenzy, many buyers opted out of a traditional home inspection to make the properties more appealing to sellers in a competitive market. Now, as the market shifts, home buyers are getting bolder. They're scheduling detailed home inspections and asking sellers to make repairs or pay for them. How much is just too much to work and ask for? My advice now is to ask for everything. Managing broker in Washington, D.C. in 2017 or so, buyers typically asked for repairs only on items that impacted their health and safety and what difficulty to handle. Today, buyers in some cases can ask for every single thing the inspector flagged as something to repair or replace. However, this advice isn't ubiquitous, Mr. Stern acknowledged. Ubiquitous, I learned that a long time ago. Ubiquitous is that it's everywhere. That's how I remember it. Well, this is probably not something that you want to jump into a house unless it's a special price, a special discount. The recent opportunity struck with my wife and I here in Tucson, Arizona. And what brought us out here from Texas is that we've got grandkids. Guess what? Grandkids rule. So we're here. We've been in a rental. We've waited for the rental to give us shelter, of course, and give us an opportunity to look at the housing market. And what we discovered here in Tucson was that most of the houses, the nicer houses, are older than others and also more pricey. That's in Oro Valley, which is just north of Tucson, that too. And Marana, where is next to Oro Valley. I would say that this information is also home prices fell in October for the fourth straight month. We talked about that. The jump in mortgage rates is dampening demand, with many economists expecting prices to continue sliding from their spring peaks. Home prices declined in October. Case-Shiller says that it fell 0.5% in October compared with September, which was the fourth straight month-over-month decline. A year-over-year basis, 9.2% and 10.7% annual rate per prior month. Surge in mortgage rates this year brought an end to a pandemic-driven housing boom that drove up sales prices and pushed many buyers out of the market. And yes, we were pushed out of the market, and we sat and looked. Existing home sales fell for 10 straight months through November. Well, this doesn't look a whole lot good. I'd be careful with respect to your judgment and your pocketbook. We still got a recession hanging in front of us under a black cloud somewhere that we don't yet see. That's going to have a bearing on the same home buying as we've talked about here today. It's dropped, and maybe it's going to drop some more. I don't know if it's going to have an opportunity. The market itself, it has an opportunity to try and find more property, affordable property. And you need your patience. Your patience well. There's another statistic. With new mortgages down 47%, U.S. lenders are starting to go bankrupt. Could this be one factor trigger the worst surge of failures since 2008? Well, that's to be found. That's to be looked at to see if that's really the case. All this, we're thinking about things are going to be better. They may not be better. Same with the stock market. Yeah, everybody thinks it's going to be better, but it may not be better. I predict that after the holidays here, after the first, which is upon us, another week or so, we're going to see a lot of decline in stocks, in ETFs, in indexes, all those things. I believe it's a coming. So batten the hatches and stay well and be on the lookout carefully. So I thank all of my listeners to find you in searching for integrity. I hope this information has come today to you at a time that you can think about it and then think some more about it. Tuning in to Searching for Integrity, thank you very much. So long and happy trails to all.